Hello everybody and welcome back to TechZulu Live from Source13 by Flurry. I'm Amanda Coulong, your host, and I'm sitting here with Sharon Wienbar, the Managing Director of Scale Venture Partners. Wonderful having you. How are you?
Thanks so much, Amanda. I'm great. It's a really fun event here.
Yeah, so you're going to be talking on a panel shortly, yes? Just about the investment opportunities in mobile?
Yes, we have a panel of venture capital investors from the very earliest stage up through late stage, so it'll be a good distribution of viewpoints.
So, mobile is so hot, it's growing so quickly. We've got tablets, we've got mobile phones, and there's a glut, really, of apps that are out there. What are you looking for as an investor when someone comes to you with a mobile app?
Right. So we're looking for, at the app level, we're looking for apps people love and they're really highly engaged with over a sustained period of time, because there are a lot of apps that are sort of flash in the pan, and in particular with some of the viral channels, they can get a lot of traction very quickly, and then the question is, will that fall away or will that sustain? And when people are logging into the application, on a daily or multiple times a week basis, then that application has the opportunity to become a business. So for us, where we play, Scale Venture Partners is all about investing in companies that are scaling. So you have to show that you're
Hence
not just
the name.
That's we try to have the value proposition right there. But but we really want to see that the app is in fact a business. The company is a business, not just an app.
Actually a very fair point, because so many people say, well, we have all these users. Well, how long have you had them? And is it continuing to grow? And how often are they coming back to your app? You might have users, but have they logged in every day? How long are they in it?
Right, so we pay, the first question we ask is about engagement and about, the ratio, the classic measurements are the ratio of daily active uniques to monthly active uniques, and especially that ratio when you subtract out new downloads, because when a company is growing very fast, the new users count as both daily and monthly. So it looks like you have a very strong ratio, but you have to subtract out the new downloads and say, of the people who've had the application on the phone for more than a day, how often do they come back? And so, for example, I looked at an early stage company recently that talked a lot about the cumulative number of downloads. They had 5 million cumulative downloads, but only about 50,000 people on a monthly basis. So something is wrong, that people are coming in using it once and then not using it again.
What are the companies doing, perhaps like even some that are in your portfolio, what are they doing right that is maintaining that user base and that engagement and sustainability?
Right, so the first thing is it has to be something that that is valuable and useful. So the novelty apps that we all saw explode on the market with the first iPhone, the iFart app and the beer drinking app and things like that are not of sustained value. So a great example is actually one of my portfolio companies spoke on a panel earlier, Everyday Health. They have a lot of applications. They're all in the health, wellness, fitness, weight loss space. So some of them, by very nature of the application, you are logging in multiple times a day. My calorie counter, you log in after every meal or at least once a day and log what you ate, because you're trying to improve your fitness and your health.
Naturally have a reason to come back.
Right. So those kind of apps are very highly engaged because the value proposition is all about the data, and the risk there is that people, this is true of things like the to-do lists and everything else that's kind of self-improvement, once you fall off the bandwagon, you may not come back. Like, this is part of the reason why in the task management space there are so many companies, is you don't want to go back to the task list that you didn't finish, so you start a new one so that you feel like you can get on top of the ball again. If you don't have that sort of natural mechanic that people initiate themselves to come back, the application itself can do things to essentially reach back to the consumer to get you to re-engage, whether it's through notifications or other forms of messaging, and then of course the whole gamification strategy across different kinds of applications. So
does that work?
Yes, but it requires on people being truly motivated for something, for the payoff, right? So, in Zynga games, it was come back and feed your pets or something like that, so that then you can be together with your friends. And then, in fact, they were giving you a lot of incentive to also reach out to your friends and trying to get them to come in as a way of increasing your status in the world. So, if it's something that that you value that's being offered for the action, then yes, then people will go through that mechanic. So an example, it's not one of our portfolio companies, but is this company Viggle. That's it's a social TV platform. So while you're watching a TV show, you can play games, and their business model is to try to drive more people to watch television, whether it's terrestrial broadcast, cable, or online. They're getting paid for driving viewers to those shows. So they're doing things like play this game, or log into this, check into the show, and we'll reward you with Viggle points, and you can redeem the points for actual real-world benefits, like Starbucks gift cards and things. Now, but they have to expend, they're offering something of intrinsic value. A $5 gift card is worth $5. So it's not just status in a virtual world or a badge. It's real hard money, which also costs them money. So it's kind of an expensive strategy to pursue.
Would you say that indie developers still have a chance as it relates to creating an app, or do you have to have a lot of money in your war chest? Do you have to have a lot of backing? Can someone kind of on a shoestring still do well with a mobile app?
I think in a way the companies that are undercapitalized if they have a truly brilliant idea for making something people want, they have a better chance of being successful over the long run. If they're not looking for a quick hit and they build something that truly delights their end users, the end users will keep coming back. And that's the most valuable kind of customer and the most valuable kind of company, is a company that the people love. And you've seen this over and over in the game space, where for a while it was very cheap to acquire end users. And so the games companies spent a ton of money on marketing, drove these very large user base, looked very exciting, but then those people fell away and there wasn't much left there. So Instagram, everybody talked about exploding onto the market. In fact, it was a very long, slow burn in the first, I think 18 months of spending nothing on marketing, slowly building the network, but because it's a network company, it had increasing returns to scale. So every new user, added value, and then that exponential compounding kicked in, and it looked really big.
And then everyone just assumed, oh, this just happened to happen right now. This is so fast, because everyone in our industry just thinks that everything happens magically overnight, and it really doesn't.
Right, and that one in particular was a long, slow burn, and then you had the companies that were trying to be the, quote, Instagram of video, right? That was a whole little bubblet, and who tried to dramatically shorten the time frame to scale, and they were helped by Facebook's opening of social graph and the publishing of all kinds of new actions, and the ability to drive installs of the apps out of the Facebook application itself. So they got this sort of like triple witching hour of getting to extraordinary scale very quickly, but then they hadn't built that organic body of content and the organic body of end users, and then when Facebook dialed back the social actions, those end users stopped visiting nearly as much. So now those companies are having to regroup and go, take it slow.
Yeah. At what stage should companies come to you specifically?
Sure. Great question. So Scale Venture Partners, we're all about scaling. So what we're looking for is the proof points in a company's business that spending more money now is going to pay off, right? So in most software companies, most of the money that gets invested in the company goes into sales and marketing. That's usually the biggest line item in expense over the long period. And it's the biggest line item of expense when things are going well. When things are going poorly, it's a money pit, because you spend money on, either app installs, marketing, whatever, that the market's not ready for what you're offering, or your thing doesn't fit with what the customers want. So we're really looking for that, the early strong signs of product market fit and an ability to scale the business. It doesn't have to be very large. I mean, in the consumer space, you have to have customer proof and validation, and consumer is usually a pretty large number. In a more of a B2B space, it can be a smaller number of customers, but a high velocity of new customers being added.
Wow, like so many great points here. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to add about just Source13? You know, you've been here at the show for a little bit. It's the first Source13 that's ever happened. Any insights from the show floor?
Oh, sure. It's really impressive what this conference has pulled off. This is probably one of the most vibrant conferences that I've seen in a long time. I mean, I was shocked when I walked in and just saw how many people here. And I think it's both a testament to Flurry's place in the market and how well known they are. And we're not an investor in Flurry, but I've known Simon for years. In fact, he did some work for Scale Venture Partners before he founded Flurry. So we're definitely friends of the company. But the ecosystem and the excitement around the space and this, the people from all over different, it's not just startups, all the big incumbents, because mobile is such a disruptor to so many business models. That's part of what makes it so exciting for investment as well.
Well, it's wonderful to meet you, and hopefully we will hear from you again. We would love to see you on TechZulu again. So everybody make sure you're following Sharon Wienbar. It's at Wienbar on Twitter. And I'm your host, Amanda Coulong, and we will speak with you again here in just